Good Wednesday morning, friends, or afternoon, or whenever you happen to join me. For those that I may not know, I'm Reverend Jennifer Finley, our Momentum and Discipleship Pastor here at First United Methodist Church in Kirksville, and this is our weekly time to sit down wherever we might be, to pause, or perhaps to do dishes while you're listening, but to take a pause together. And if you're like me, still be drinking your cup of coffee or your tea, and to wonder together about how God is meeting us, where God is showing up in our lives, in our world. It's a really important question, because oftentimes, our world is complex and messy, and there's all kinds of things in the news, and sometimes we simply need that practice, that reminder that God is alive and active and moving in our world and our lives and meeting us exactly where we are. And as I was wondering about that question for myself and for us this week, where and how is God meeting me? I was thinking about the weather. It's not just a cliche, although it is a cliche around that we Midwesterners often talk about the weather. That's our way of starting conversations. And as I was hearing conversations this week, I heard a lot of things that sounded a lot like, oh, it's so good to see the sun. Oh, it's so good to see the grass again. Oh my, I can't believe the grass is still this green. I'm right there with you if those were things you were saying. This morning, at least here in Kirksville, is bright and sunny. You can see the sun coming in the windows and here in our gathering space, and I can see out towards our sanctuary where there is just sunlight streaming through the gorgeous windows. And so I imagine that many of us at some point, as the winter storms have abated, at least for a bit, and we've taken a deep breath and we've looked around, we might find ourselves in a place like this. This is a prayer, a blessing, a poem written for clear skies. Sometimes when it is clear and cold, I step outside and I look way up to see heaven's banner stretching, expansive and exploding, to remember and honor the ancestors and ancient dreams, everything that came before and the light that is still coming, to guide travelers and kindle visions of heaven's splendor near and now. I wonder, have you taken a moment, as our skies have cleared, at least momentarily, to look up? I know this morning as I was sitting in my chair, drinking my coffee at home, trying to motivate myself for the day, I was looking in one direction out one window and I was seeing a beautiful sunrise. But I looked out the other direction and just happened to catch the moon framed between the trees in my neighbor's backyard. And there was something about even being inside, looking up and seeing that clear, beautiful sky that yes, is a reminder that the light is still coming to guide travelers and kindle visions of heaven's splendor, that there are moments that when our lives are stormy, sometimes the clouds do clear, even just momentarily, enough for us to see the sunrise or the moon. The other thing that has happened with the weather around here, it's colder today, but we've experienced a little bit of a thaw. Now, I know I am not foolish enough to think that this is our final thaw. I know winter is going to come roaring back, whether it's February or March. Sometimes even April surprises us around here. But for the moment, there is this thaw. And this is a poem, a blessing by Metta Herrick Carlson for the thaw. Listen, the earth is melting like a deep sigh, relaxing her shoulders, drinking in everything that has been waiting to fill and nourish her dormant depths, the haunts of her roots and secret desires that will rise with color and a tenacious will that cannot stay dead for long. there's just some beautiful imagery that caught me in that. And I'm wondering, as you have been either outside or inside looking out, experiencing this winter thaw, this midwinter thaw, and we know it's going to freeze again. We know those cloudy skies are going to come again, but I wonder if you've listened. And I wonder what you hear in this for you. Maybe listen for a word or a phrase that calls out to you as we read this again. Listen, the earth is melting like a deep sigh, relaxing her shoulders, drinking in everything that has been waiting to fill and nourish her dormant depths, the haunts of her roots and secret desires that will rise with color and a tenacious will that cannot stay dead for long. Where do you find yourself in this blessing and poem? Perhaps you have found yourself relaxing your shoulders a bit as things have thawed. What in your life is waiting for a thaw? Or what in your life is currently dormant under the frozen ground, but is there and is waiting for a thaw, for a spring to come? I wonder, how is God meeting you in those depths? For the spring does come, the winter thaws do come, and in the meantime, God meets us in the sunshine, by the fire, in those moments when we look up to the clear skies, and when the skies become cloudy again, when our lives become challenging again, when the snow falls again, we hold on to that knowledge and that memory that there are beautiful things lying beneath that snow, green grass that's being nourished, and that there are those moments of thaw when our shoulders relax, when we allow ourselves to be nourished. Friends, I know the winter has been long so far, but the spring will come. And in the meantime, we can enjoy the promise that God meets us in all of those places. Go in peace, my friends.